Okay. Okay, great. Uh, we'll wait for 2 more minutes for people to join in and we'll start the webinar by 6:05. Sorry, we will start in a couple of minutes. We'll just
Sure, sure.
people join and we'll start in a couple of minutes. Yeah, Saurabh, I think we can start. People can join in. It's already 6:05. Uh,
Yeah.
so hi everyone. Good evening, and welcome to today's webinar. And today's webinar topic is Beyond Generative AI, the leadership shift to Agentic AI. So before moving into the webinar, I'll quickly introduce today's speaker. Today's speaker is Mr. Saurabh Kango. He's a data science senior manager at Meesho. He has 9+ years of experience in the field of data science and analytics. He has worked in multiple domains such as retail, travel, and tech. He has also worked with LinkedIn. He's been a mentor with Great Learning for 3+ years, and he has delivered more than 400 hours of educational guidance. Right? I welcome you to today's webinar, Saurabh. Thanks for joining us today.
Uh,
Mm.
Thanks, Vikas. Hey, everyone. I'll take it up from here. Thank you so much. Uh, Hey, guys. Am I audible to all of you? Can you quickly say hi, hello in the chat? Hi, Sandeep. Nice to have you here. Hey, everyone else. Hi, Abhishek. Awesome. Great. So, welcome all. So, let me start off with my introduction. Vikas has already given some idea about my background, but let me explain a little bit about my background in here. So, I spent about 9+ years working at the intersection of data science, AI systems, and the real world outcomes. I've seen AI go from nice to have to mission critical. I've worked in travel, I've worked in tech, I've also worked in the retail segment, and currently I'm working in a e-commerce setup. I've been in the sector where AI either works in production or in the customer side of things. For example, at LinkedIn, I built the AI system that generated the scale insight for every company across the world. The products which were used by millions of professionals every single day. Right now at Meesho, which is one of the largest, fastest growing e-commerce platform, I'm deploying AI at scale which touches about millions and millions of people in order to increase their efficiency of buying products on the platform. I've also spent about 3+ years, mentoring and teaching about AI at Great Learning, and this is the reason why I'm probably here. And I want to talk about a massive shift that is happening around us, and how do you prepare yourself in case you are in a leadership position? How do you prepare yourself for this particular shift that is happening around us? What is the kind of skill set that you need to kind of think about? So I'm gonna give you the mental model from the practitioner side of the things, with the examples that probably with the current condition that is happening around us. and you would exactly know, what kind of a questions that you need to ask in the boardrooms, wherever this conversations around AI agents is happening around you, and this is what can help you create an impact with the real stakeholders that you have in your organization. So with this, let me introduce you to what is an AI agent. What is the introduction, or the topic that we'll cover is introduction to AI agent. Before we go to what agents do, it is important to understand what is an AI agent. So let me start by defining the definition of AI agent, and then we'll get into the examples as well. So an AI agent is an autonomous entity that uses, it's an autonomous. The most important term to focus here is AI agent is an autonomous entity that uses AI to perceive environment, make decisions, perform actions to the specific goal that you give. It operates independently. It operates independently or interacts with other agents and the system. It stimulates how a human behavior or a human intelligence would solve that particular problem. So it adapts, it challenges itself, it learns from the experience, and it also is able to solve some complex problems. Now, if you just read the definition, it will be like very theoretical. Let me think. Let me tell you like how you can compare an AI agent with something else, right? So, for example, think of the AI agent as a digital employee. Just imagine that there is one person who can think, who can learn, who can adapt, who can have a lot of context, who can remember a lot of things. So just think about an AI agent as a digital employee, not the tool that you use, but the system that uses tools on your behalf, right? The tool, for example, the example of tool could be calculator, right? So we are not talking about the tool. We are talking about our agent. We are talking about an employee who is digital in nature, who can use the tools on your behalf, right? You give the goal, it will figure out what it needs to do. It will check if it can actually do that particular task. It will check what are the adjustments that he needs to do in order to make that particular task. It tries it. It will keep on trying again and again until he kind of reaches to the goal. So a tool is like a calculator. A tool is your Excel sheet. A tool is like your platform where you are doing some analysis. But AI agent is somebody who is a digital employee who uses the tools on your behalf, right? So that is a clear mental model distinction that you need to first understand. Okay, so for example, and like one of the agents that probably everyone here in the room has already been using, it's your Google Map. For example, when you ask Google Map that, I want to reach to the airport by 6 p.m., it will not tell you just one route. It will give you the options. It will consider the current traffic. It will also consider the alternatives. Then it will recommend which is the fastest route possible to reach to your destination. It takes the action by recalculating dynamically. For example, in the route that you're going, something happened, accident happened, and it will, beforehand, it will tell you, hey, you know what, you should not be taking this particular route. You should be taking some other route. So this action that it takes by recalculating dynamically as you drive, if there is an accident, it adapts real time, and this is what a AI agent is capable of doing. An AI agent is somebody who can perceive, who can have a reasoning behind it. It can act, it can adapt, but towards all of one thing, which is the goal that you have given. Okay. Another example that I can give you is in case you have seen the Tesla autopilot car feature. For example, ever you see some videos on YouTube about how you can drive the car on Tesla without actually making a decision on what is the action that you need to take in the car. That is my Tesla autopilot. So again, it is not just a camera that is which has been mounted. Camera is the tool, but what it does is it perceives the road environment through cameras, through the ultrasonic sensors. It reasons about every object that comes, and according to that, it takes the action. For example, it will take an action of steering, it will take the action of braking, it will take the action of accelerating. It learns from millions and millions of miles of data that has been collected by different Tesla cars. And every Tesla car that is being driven, which is collecting this particular data, is making this AI agent smarter. So an AI agent is an agent which can operate in the digital world, or it can operate in the physical world. For an example, this autopilot feature that you have in Tesla. Okay, so do remember the main important thing that you need to remember, or the most important part that you need to remember is that AI agents are autonomous, right? That is the keyword that you need to hold on to. An agent does not wait for you to tell what step it has to take. It has a goal, it has a figure, it carries out the steps on your behalf. He will try to learn the steps on your behalf. And this is the fundamental shift in the AI that we are observing. Previously, we used to write the prompt and we would consume the prompt and make a decision. Nowadays, the AI, you have to not give the prompt, you have to give the goal. It will try to figure out the things on its own and solve the problem for you. Okay, so this is the main shift that has happened recently. We have gone beyond the prompting. Prompting just helps you in terms of getting the information, but it does not act on your behalf. AI agents are something which kind of acts on your behalf. Okay, now what are the main characteristics of an AI agent? What defines a good AI agent, and what are the properties does an AI agent kind of follows? So these are the four main characteristics that an AI agent follows, which is autonomy, perception, decision making, and learning. Right. So what the agent does is it gathers a lot of data using sensor and input mechanisms to understand the context, and that is where it combines the perception with the reality, right? Perception is the agent's interference, or perception is the agent's interface with the reality. Let me give you an example. Have you all heard about this company called as Waymo by Google? Anyone here? The self-driving car system called as Waymo. Is anyone aware of this? Uh, I put it in the chat. Just tell me yes or no. Yeah, it's an like if I show you the website, it's a very amazing thing that they have created. So if you go to this, so it's like a self-driving car wherein you don't have to do anything. It automatically runs. This is the kind of the sensor that is added. You enter your OTP and the car drives. Right. This is a pretty amazing invention of AI that has happened around us. So this is what I'm talking about, which is my Waymo. So what Waymo does is Waymo vehicle perceives the data. Waymo vehicles perceive the data, perceive the world through the suits of sensors. Right at the top of that particular car, you see that there are a lot of sensors attached, a lot of cameras attached, a 360-degree camera which is attached, and it also has a radar system. So every zero point 0.1 second, every zero point 0.1 second, I'm not even talking about 1 second, every zero point 0.1 second, the vehicle processes about 1 terabytes of data. Could you imagine? In zero point 0.1 second, the amount of data that is generated through this radar systems, through the sensors and through the cameras is about 1 terabyte, which is probably more than what many of the companies would generate over a week. This particular data is processed every second just to understand what is around that particular car. And this is the perception at scale that we are talking about, which makes agents autonomous in order to make decisions. Even a human cannot process this amount of information when it is driving. It takes care, it considers all the information that it is capturing within the second, and within a second, it is also processing and making a decision. And this is where the first characteristic comes into picture, which is the perception, which is using the sensors and input mechanism to understand the environment before it is trying to make a decision. Okay. The second important part that comes into the picture is your decision making. Now, what happens is the agents apply reasoning to choose the best outcome of the action. Like it will have multiple options to select from. So it will select the option which he thinks, based on the goal that you have provided, is the best action, and based on the current state and the goal that you have given, that is the best action that the agent can take. So this is where the intelligence happens, right? For example, if I ask you that, hey, you know what, you need to invest in 3 stocks, right? You need to make a decision about investing in a stock. Now, in order to do so, you have limited money, but you want to only invest in one of the stocks. You will probably go around and analyze all the important information about those 3 companies. You will look at their cash flows. You will look at their sales history. You will look at their call records, which is your investor call records. You will look at their 10K reports. You will understand everything. And then finally, you will come up with the decision that, hey, you know what, I need to invest X amount in this particular stock. Now, just think of it that the AI agent can collect the information on your behalf, process the information on your behalf, understand the information on your behalf, and also can make a decision on your behalf. Right? So instead of you going and placing the order, it will decide, okay, this is the best stock that I need to pick up. It will automatically pick up that particular stock, invest your money, And this is what makes the AI agents even more amazing, is because now they are also able to make decisions when the choices are given. If you ask him to do X thing, he can do it. If you ask him to go from X to Y, he can do it. But if you ask him to select one of the best options and then make a decision and also adapt as it goes along, it's not going to be like, okay, he has made a decision and he will continue with that. If there are any changes in the process, he will also adapt to it and also make a decision on your behalf. So one of the examples that I can give you here is from JP Morgan. JP Morgan has this trading AI system called as Loxum. Okay, you can read about this later on. So they have this amazing AI system called as LOXM system. What it does is it doesn't just follow the rules. It reasons about the market's microstructure. How will the trade affect the market price? It will also figure out what is the best time to execute the order. It will also try to figure out how the order can be broken so that it does not affect the overall market price, because if JP Morgan is buying something in the market, the prices also fluctuate. So it will also break down the orders in such a way that it does not affect the price of the shares of that particular company. And it has actually outperformed the human traders in that particular company because of the precision in which it is able to process this information, make the autonomous decisions, and can be scaled automatically without any human intervention. Okay, so this is where the decision making comes into picture. Then you have autonomy, right? This is the most important part, which is like an agents operate without any human intervention, making decisions and taking action based on their programming, based on how it has been programmed and whatever it is learning from the new data that it is acquiring. So this is what makes them transformational, which is that they can also work independently without any human intervention. So, for example, if you go back in 2012, Amazon Fulfillment Center had all humans, no robot, zero robot in 2012. If I go to 2026, most of their fulfillment centers have about 7.5 lakhs robots working day in, day out. Right? They are not just a simple conveyor belt. Your conveyor belt is like your automation, right? We're not talking about automation. This is like the autonomous agent. Each robot perceives the environment, looking at what is the item that he has to process, makes the routing decision on its own, coordinates with the central orchestration system, work 24 hours in the day, and the Amazon now can fulfill most of the orders with a lesser number of fulfillment center in that particular region. So that is the reason why it is able to kind of fulfill the orders very, very fast, because all the sorting, all the packaging, all the distribution that you need to do in order to distribute the product is now done by the small agents called as robots, which works autonomously without having any human intervention. So this is the third main characteristic of your AI agent. Okay. Then we have learning. The learning means the agents improve their performance by learning from the past experiences, adapting to the situations, optimizing their strategies. They are not like a static system which who you tell, okay, do X and do Y. It will continue to improvise on whatever they are learning from, and that is again makes them very, very special, because now they are not static to the current environment. They are also adaptable to the new environment that is going on. So one of the examples that I can probably think about here is the Spotify discovery engine. So if anyone has used Spotify against any other music app, you will find a clear difference between them. The difference is that what Spotify recommendation system agent does is that it serves around 600 million users with a very, very personalized content. Okay, and what makes this particular agent so special is that it kind of learns from your past historic data, and it also considers the change in the preferences of your listening style. For example, it should not happen, but if in case you are going through the breakup and you're listening to the sad songs, this agent will understand this and start recommending you songs based on your current mood. Let's say he knows that based on the location you are in a gym, he will start to give you more high energy beat song, because he understands that at this moment of the time, you try to prefer to use a high beat song for your gym purposes, and he will give you more recommendation around that. So this is the personalization that it is able to achieve, because now the agent is reading your data, understanding your data, learning from your data, and giving you the recommendation in an autonomous way. And that is what is again driving profitability, conversion, and increased revenue for the company of Spotify, just because of this one agent that they created, which is my Spotify discovery engine. So this is the main characteristics of AI. Again, do remember, they are autonomous. They are somebody who can take the data, perceive the data from the environment that they are in. They will be able to make the decision on their own, and they continuously adapt. They are not static. They continuously adapt with the new information that they see. Okay, and if one of the best part about this particular slide is that if you wonder that AI is the thing of 2026 or 2025, or AI is the thing of Chat GPT which got invented in 2023, absolutely not. The AI discovery has been going on since very, very long. I think one of the cornerstones in AI development was this German encryption code, which the team was able to break. The scientists were able to break, which was this model created by Alan Turing. That was the first main discovery that happened in the world of AI. Uh, have you seen this movie called as Imitation Game by any chance? There's a movie called as Imitation Game. You should definitely watch it. So it was probably the first time when the humans tried to see whether the machine can think on its own. That was the first part that was invented. Then you had the system eras, which was like rule-based era. You give a rule and it will execute that particular rule. So that is what was happening in the 70s and the 80s. You ask the vending machine to, when the price is entered, when the money is entered, give the product. That was my rule-based era, which was created in 70s and 80s. After that, with the digitization, the data started to, get more digitized. It was more on the servers rather than on the sheet of pen on a paper or undigitized format. And that is where the breakthrough started to happen. Let the data take a role in terms of understanding what is going on. In 2000, the cloud computing came into picture, and that led to the explosion. That led to, I can access any data of any company at any given point of the time because of the cloud system that was created, and that was a stepping stone probably in my this big data and computational power with cloud computing was the probably one of the most important steps that happened in this AI discovery. And currently, in 2020 plus, we are here wherein we are doing deep learning revolution. That means now the machines can understand what you're speaking. The machine can understand what you're writing. The machine can understand what is the image that it is seeing. The machine can also understand what is there in your photo. For example, Apple face detection model is an AI. It's an AI system which takes your photo, compares it with the photo that it has stored. So even if you're wearing glasses, even if you're wearing cap, he's able to identify you and unlock your phone. So that is where because the systems that were built nowadays were also able to understand the unstructured data, which is like my images, videos, audios, and that is what is leading to deep. This is what is leading to the AI revolution that we are all part of. Okay, now what is that? Why does AI agents matter now? What is the reason why it is very, very important? That why does this particular thing of AI agent matter in the current business environment? Okay, so the reason why it is the case, again, there are five reasons that I can talk about, which leads to why every business leader should deeply care about AI agents. Is because one is automation, right? It is freeing up the human potential for not doing a very, very repetitive task, doing tasks which can be easily handled by the machine. So AI agents handle repetitive, boring, time-consuming tasks while allowing humans to focus on strategic and creative work. This is not really, again, the entire world is nowadays thinking about, hey, you know what? Let's replace the humans. It's actually not about that. It's more about let's empower humans to do more from the limited bandwidth that they have. If you ask me, how do I see AI and human connection? The best example probably was shown in the movie Iron Man. Is there anyone who's a fan of Iron Man series or have seen it? Uh, Anyone? Yeah. So that Iron Man is a perfect example of how AI and humans can work, right? It will integrate the intelligence from the robots. and it will have the decision making and the creativity from the human, and this two works together to build something amazing. So AI agents are like that, which combines the power of human thinking, human critical thinking context, and the sentiments and relationships with the intelligence of AI system, which combines both of them together and create a work which is long lasting. Okay, so for example, uh, at JP Morgan, they would get a lot of customer requests on different platforms. For example, they would get a request from customers saying that their balance is not updated. They'll get a request from an app which would say, you know what, my transfer has not happened. So they would get a lot of this customer requests, and some of them were very, very simple to handle. Some of them were complex, but they would have a complete call center and support system operations based out of India and other parts of the world, and the call center agents would kind of help companies solve this particular queries. So what they did is they gave this particular data about every interaction that the call center employee had, every interaction that probably the tickets were solved for. That data was given to an AI learning model. It was given to the model. The model learned from how to tackle what kind of question comes and what kind of solutions are provided. It learned from that, and nowadays almost 80% of any customer service request that comes on JP Morgan is actually not handled by the humans. It is handled by the machine. And the humans only take care of very, very complex, which has a lot of context that needs to be understood before it's been getting solved. That is where the current employees are kind of working on. So what is this enabling is that now the customer satisfaction score has increased because previously all the tickets were considered as same. Every simple ticket versus every complex ticket that people would raise would be considered on the same scale. Now, only the ones which are very complicated, which does not have a lot of context and is happening for the first time, that is where the human agents are coming into picture and solving this. So again, the shift that is happening is previously I could only handle 100 tickets. Now I can handle million tickets, but I'll also handle that 100 tickets which are super complicated. Okay, so that is what is the main change that is happening in the automation space, and that is the reason why having AI agents, learning about AI agents becomes important because in your company that you're working in, and if you're in a leadership position, you should know how you can leverage automation in order to free up some of the tasks that does not really require human judgment and human time in order to solve that kind of a problem. Okay. The second part is scalability. The AI agent can process like a large amount of data because of one of the best companies in the world, which is my NVIDIA. They created something called as GPUs. And because of this GPU, the agents can now process the data at a lightning speed. Right? Previously, all our computers are based on CPU, central processing unit. Now you have graphical processing unit. And what it does is that it can process vast amount of data at a scale that was probably impossible for humans to work upon. For example, previously, I'm sure you would be seeing this in your current banking transaction as well. Previously, if I wanted to identify if a transaction is a fraud, the fraud would have happened, somebody would have reported, and after that, the banks would take the action that, hey, you know what, this is a fraud transaction. But nowadays, if you observe very carefully, if you make any transaction which is like unusual, for example, you never do a cash transaction, suddenly you took out a cash of 1 lakh, you will get a call confirming whether is that transaction even real or not, right? And do remember, you're not getting the calls when you're doing a normal transaction, isn't it? Has anyone observed this? Suddenly, if you make some unusual transaction, do you get an alert from the bank? Even if there is OTP, even if there is everything else, do you see this happening around you? Yeah. Now, why is this getting possible? So, because of this GPU system that we have created, the millions and billions of transactions can be processed real time. And if the fraud is happening, instead of waiting for the fraud to happen and the money to go, this systems enables the companies to reduce on the fraud because you're reducing the fraud because of the scalability that we are having. That is where this is the reason why adapting to the AI agent has become so important. Okay. Then the most important part, which again was not possible with human intervention, is real-time decision making. For example, Amazon has used this pricing agent. What it does is it looks at the product, it looks at the number of views the product is getting real time, it looks at the number of clicks the product is getting real time. It looks at the number of purchases people have made real time. It looks at the inventory value real time. Combining all of this factor, it tries to decide what should be the right price of the product. So if you observe very carefully, anytime you go to Amazon, the product prices are are not same, right? Morning you will find the prices will be different. In the afternoon, it could be different if the inventory stocking has been done. Or you may find that okay, the views on that particular product has dropped, the prices would have also been dropped. So this particular mechanism where the machine learns using something called as reinforcement learning, the agent continuously evolve itself, try to learn from the new data that they're getting, and apply the decision making framework without any manual intervention. And that is what leads to real time decision making. The another important part is that they're adaptable. That means, like I said, if the inventory is stocked up properly and the views has reduced significantly, the company would sell it at a lower price because he knows that now that there is not a lot of demand. So if there was, for example, something went viral, and for example, right now it is happening. Diet Coke in Bangalore is missing, right? Like some people would have started doing publicity on Instagram, and suddenly the Diet Cokes in Bangalore is missing from every quick commerce platform. So instead of giving an offer, for example, if you would have previously seen it, you would have got like 10-15% off on the Diet Coke. Nowadays, you will not find it because the machine realizes that, okay, the as soon as the item is coming onto the stock, it is going out of the stock. So there is no need to give offers and discount. And that is how real time it is adapting to the information, acting upon it at a scale in a personalized way. And that is the reason why this AI agent proves to be of a great benefit to every company in the world. Okay, so this is the main reason why the companies are also adapting to AI agents because that enables them to increase the revenue with simple agent creation that they can do. Okay, now probably you would be having this particular question. Okay, I understood what are the characteristics. I understood why agents are important. Uh, how does it work, right? Like, what is the core components that it has? So, like we have already discussed, the first one is it tries to gather the data. It tries to collect the data from the environment through the sensors or through the input mechanism. So every time you interact on Instagram, every time you go to Instagram and see a photo, like a photo, share a reel, click on an advertisement, click on a particular post, comment on a particular post, it is collecting this particular data real time, and this particular data gets converted into a context, right? So, for example, if I see a person is liking a photo related to IPL a lot of times, his feed will continue to improve and we will continue to see more and more posts related to IPL. That is what that algorithm is all about, right? That is what makes Instagram differentiable from everything else. Is that algorithm that it has created? So it collects the data from the environments, and that collection of the data is the one that is very important. In a physical world, for example, you can have the IoT sensors, every camera, every motion sensors that you have. That is where it collects the data from. Once it collects the data, it tries to make sense of what he has got, right? It tries to make use of whatever information that he has collected. So what it does in the next step is the agent will collect the information. It will collect the information collected from the perceived data. It will apply the logical rules. It will apply the models and then try to make decision on top of it. So for example, if somebody is looking at a lot of IPL videos, that is what the machine has understood. The reasoning that the next step that it will try to do is it will try to show you ads related to uh, sports equipment or say fitness equipment because the person understands that this person is interested in watching IPL games. So the second important part is that it analyzes the data and applies the logical rules to make decision, which is one of the examples could be a recommendation system suggested by the products on the user behavior. Okay. Then comes the third part. It got the data, it reasoned the data, it tried to make sense of the data, and then it will take the action, right? For example, agent is not only thinking and giving you the information that, hey, you know what, this person likes IPL. He's going to act on behalf of it. It will, if it's a physical one, it will act, for example, if it's a vehicle, it will drive, or if it's a digital one, it will probably start a marketing campaign or a SEO based on the information that it has got. For example, let's say based on your behavior, the machine observes that you order food at 5 o'clock and you order it from a very specific restaurant. you will receive an email or a notification at say 4:30 that this particular restaurant is open and these are the products that you can buy from. So that is where it becomes even more interesting that now they are not just understanding it; they are also going to take the action on behalf of a person. Otherwise, a human would have sat and took the action. In this case, the AI agent is taking the action. Uh, One of the examples in the coding world is that it has learned everything about all the codes that are written and is available on the internet. So as soon as you try to write certain code, it remembers, okay, somebody else has already written a code like this. So probably the next lines of code should be XYZ. And that is the reason why, the coding has become so simple, because nowadays it is not only learning from the past information, it is also giving the recommendation, it is also giving you the action point. And that is where this code agent plays a very important role in terms of giving you the thorough output of your code. And the last part, which is the learning part, like I said, in Meesho, for example, they continuously learn from the seller and buyer behavior to improve the product discovery. When, say, a new product emerges, a new fashion style emerges, the agent detects the spikes in the demand signals, adapts his recommendation logic, and tests the new merchandising strategy autonomously. This is how it kind of works and creates a full-fledged system for you on your behalf. Okay. The next part is like there are different types of AI agent. Let's try to quickly understand all of them. The first one is your simple reflex agent. For example, you're selling ice cream and you observe that there is a drop in temperature. So if you give a rule saying that, whenever the temperature on that particular day in that particular region drops by, is below, say, 30 degrees Celsius or 25 degrees Celsius, give 22% off, give 10% off. So that is my simple reflex agent, which is looking at the data, not doing any complex logic, and just making a decision about what should be the price of the ice cream on that particular day. So that is my simple reflex agent. Then you have the model reflex agent. For example, the self-driving car, the Uber, the self-driving Waymo car that we talked about, or a Tesla auto driving feature. That is like a model-based, reflex-based. It carries all the information. It takes all the data. It processes all that data very, very real time, and then it kind of gets you the output. Okay. And then finally, you have a goal-based agent. For example, you will give a certain goal, and no matter what, it will try to fulfill that particular goal. You can give a goal like, I want to increase the customer retention rate by 5%. Now, what is required to increase the customer retention rate by 5%? It will look at the data, analyze the data, understand the data, figure out the opportunities wherein the retention can be increased. And that is how it will try to fulfill your goal. And some of them are being very, very much used in today's world because every company has a certain goal. You give it to it and you let it operate autonomously, and then it can probably make a decision on how you improve your customer retention. Then there are some utility-based agent, which is nothing but they will not judge on the binary goal. They'll try to maximize the function. For example, instead of just utilizing that, I want to increase the retention rate, it will try to figure out what are the factors that we need to focus on so that our retention rate can increase. So it may not guarantee that the retention rate will increase, but it will say that, okay, for retention rate to increase, these are the 6 things that we should do. So that is where this utility-based agent comes into picture, wherein you try to maximize based on the constraints that you have. Then you have the learning agents, which is my all your recommendation systems that you see on YouTube, Netflix, Instagram, wherein it is continuously learning from the environment and the experiences, improving the performance over the time, and adapting to the new situation. One of the best examples of that could be your Chat GPT, the model of the Chat GPT, which kind of continuously learns about how people are using its output through the how it is using the output. That is where it is continuously learning and giving you the output. Okay, I'll not go into all of these details, but the main part is that we need to understand, which is how it is important for the leaders. If you have understood what AI agents do, how is it important for the leaders to shift from just knowing about the generative AI to actually using it, right? So this particular section that we are talking about is the one which will bring everything together. So do remember, one of the most important thing is that the AI agent doesn't respond. It is not the prompt. It is not only the prompt. It is not only generating the output. It is actually taking the action on your behalf, right? And that's the reason why uh, from Gen AI to Agentic AI, the major difference is the actionability. Right now, we are not just giving the prompt and getting the output. It is the action that the machine can drive on its own, and that is the major shift that is happening. And because now the actions can be taken up by the machine, you need to ensure that you are on the top of the things. Because if the companies wants to build a value, they need to ensure that you know how to use AI agents. So again, the whole point is generative AI response. You give a prompt, it generates the output. It is a so it's a reactive approach that you're taking. It waits for you, you drive, it assists. This is what Gen AI does. But if you look at the agentic AI, agentic AI is something that acts. You give a goal, it's not a prompt. It makes observation, it makes plans, it creates the steps, it uses tools, it takes the action, it observes the result, it adjusts itself towards the ultimate goal that you want him to complete. So you're not driving, you're no longer driving, you are the ones who are giving the navigator, you are the ones who are the navigator who sets the destination. So you just need to set the destination, the agentic AI will do it for you. Okay, so and of course we have learned about this, that these are the benefits that you get: continuous learning, scalability, improved customer experiences, cost reduction, enhanced decision making, and increased efficiency. Okay, cool. So these are some of the places where AI, agentic AI has been used. For example, in production, we are using process optimization agent. In procurement, we are using stock forecasting agent. In HR, entire recruitment process is nowadays automated, from your resume shortlist to resume selection to candidate selection, candidate scheduling to your feedback and everything. Nowadays, the AI agent can do it on your behalf. In finance, we are seeing that all your reconciliation that used to take a lot of time can be done by the AI. The chatbots are playing a very important role in customer service. So across the board, across the industry, across the verticals, these agents are coming up, and that is what is leading to a massive demand for this kind of skills. Okay, so this is what I wanted to cover. Agents are everywhere around us. It's just that we are not seeing it. And as a leader, as a person who wants to get into the leadership roles or are already in the leadership roles, it is high time that you understand how to use AI, how to use AI agents, and how to kind of deploy it in your work. And I think the next part, which Vikas will cover, will be around that. Okay. Any questions? Anyone? Any thoughts that you have? Any questions? Thanks, Sandeep. Okay. Because do I need to cover the next part, or will you take it up?
No, no, sir. I will take it up. I will take a brief.
Sure, sure. Thank you. I'll stop sharing, or should I continue?
Yeah, you can stop sharing. I will share my screen. Yes.
Thanks, everyone. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'll just quickly share my LinkedIn profile as well. Thank you for listening so patiently. Over to you, Vikas.
Yes. Just a minute. I will just present my screen. I hope my screen is visible. Okay, got it. Uh, Yeah, no, so now Saurabh has presented the importance, right, of agentic AI, how why leadership people should, learn about agentic AI in their domain right now. So you need a right place to start to learn about these type of technologies, and from Great Learning, that is what we are providing. We are providing you an course which is specifically designed for leadership people in order to them to learn about AI and any recent technologies that has come in. Right before going into the program, I'll just quickly introduce what Great Learning is and what we do here. right? And so Great Learning, we are India's leading a tech company for professional and higher education, right? We have 15,000 plus career transition, 4,000 plus hiring partners, 400 million plus hours of learning delivered, right? And we also have partnership with big universities like University of Texas at Austin, MIT, Northwestern University, John Hopkins, IIT Bombay, etc., right? And moving on to the program is postgraduate program in artificial intelligence for leaders, right? Know what are all the topics will be covered in this program. So first module will be about your understanding towards the AI, right? So you will be learning all the basics of AI, right? And second, you will be covered with the supervised learning part. You will be given introduction to regression, classifications, right? Later, you will study about the neural networks. You will study about the unsupervised learning, right? Moving on, you will study about very detailedly about generative AI, because since I told you that this program is for leaders, we don't concentrate much into the coding part. Rather, we help people to learn a lot of new tools, how to leverage the Gen AI tools, right? Rather than doing hard coding part, right? And also, you will be having a couple of projects, you will be having hands-on sessions, you will be having capstone projects, etc., right? Moving on, who's this program for basically? So these are for product managers, business heads, delivery managers, account managers. So basically, who are in the leadership position, right? Who want to leverage AI into their domain, right? So moving on, what are the things again you'll be learning about? As I told, there will be a couple of projects. So these are some of the projects that you'll be doing. Initially, you'll be doing a customer segmentation kind of project that will include exploratory data analysis, visualizations, etc. And later, you will be doing a sentimental analysis based project. I think you'll be taking the feedbacks of customer feedbacks of some e-commerce websites, and you will be doing the sentimental analysis, right? And later you will be even developing an AI product as well, right? And moving on, so we have recently added the Agentic AI module in the program as well. So it has 16 hours of Gen AI content, which also includes Agentic AI. We have 4 weeks of deep dive into Gen AI tools and technologies, right? So yeah, this is about the program. So what I will be doing now is I will share you a Google form, right? So if you have any queries regarding the program, it can be the fee structure, it can be any other programs that you have seen in the Great Learning website, or if you want to know the details about the upcoming webinars, anything you can just fill up in this Google form, and our consultant will get back to you, and they will clear all your doubts. Right? Even for the recording of this session, you can fill in the form, and you can mention that you need the recording, and it will be shared through email as well. Right? If you have any queries regarding the program, you can just ask. And if you have any queries regarding the content that was presented, you can share that as well. I think Saurabh can take that if you have any doubts. Um, yeah, that's it from my side, Saurabh. If you have something to say, you can take it up, or I think we can end the webinar here. I'll wait for 2 more minutes for the people to fill up the feedback forms, and we can end the webinar in a couple of minutes now. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you so much for joining. You can fill the form as well. I think you need the recording, right? So we'll be sending you the via email. Okay, I will wait for 2 more minutes for people to fill up the form. I will just share the form one more time. So you might where is the link? Okay, I will share the link. Oh, 1 minute, 1 minute. I'm not sure. Okay, is it visible now? I think I've shared it uh, to everyone. Uh, yeah, so basically, what you will have for from filling this form. As I mentioned, you will be connecting with one of our learning consultant, right? So any doubts, any clarification regarding your career projection, like which program might be suitable for you? Is it an agentic AI program, or yeah, an generative AI program, or any program that is suitable for your domain, for your um, you know for your work basically. So you can connect with our consultants and they will give a better clarity, right, on why you should choose this program basically. Okay, I have got couple of responses. I'll wait for 2 more minutes and we can end the webinar by 6:55. Okay, guys, I think that's it from my side. Thank you so much for joining today. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.